What's up, guys, and welcome back to this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you for being here. I'm joined by Harry, of course. Harry, how you doing?
Yeah, good.
Now, Harry has absolutely no idea what we're talking about this week because there's been absolutely fuck all happening really in the world of football. There's a couple of transfer rumours, but nothing really concrete enough yet to, as of recording this, as of Monday at 10 to 11, because we tried to record the first time and there were connection problems and I wanted to hang myself by the end of it. So now we're back again. So technically, Harry does know what we're talking about, but I'm recording this like we wouldn't. Anyway, Harry, would you call yourself a Spurs fan?
Yes.
Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, we're putting that to the test. If you're listening to Spotify, right now in my hand, I'm holding a glorious A1, I don't know, a glorious small book called Would You Call Yourself a Spurs Fan? The Ultimate Tottenham Hotspur Quiz Book by Mark Matthews. My stepdad got me this for my birthday or Christmas last year. So thank you, Michael. Much appreciated. Shout out to Michael. So today, we're going to be doing 5 rounds. In each round, there's 10 questions. And each question is worth 2%. And we're going to see how much of a real Spurs fan Harry really is. So, I've been saving this for a rainy day. Turns out it's 400 degrees at the minute. Not rainy, but here we are. We're all rainy and sweat. So Harry's going to pick a quiz between 1 and 100. He's going to answer those 10 questions. He'll get points based on those 10 questions, and we'll total it up at the end. Harry, how are you feeling?
Confident, I guess. For now, at least.
Confident, I guess.
Yeah, for now.
Contradicting himself like he never has before. Harry, between 1 and 100, give us a quiz.
5?
Quiz number 5. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding. What are we going for? We're going for the Chelsea connection. Brilliant. So the first round of questions is going to be more about Chelsea than it is about Spurs. Thanks, mate. You really, really did well on this one. Round number 1. Question number 1. Let me get the answers up first, because otherwise I might not even know the answers myself. Chelsea connection. Here we go. Which 2 members of the double winning Spurs side of 60-61 had previously played for Chelsea?
Pat Jennings was one of them, right?
Nope.
Doesn't me think I knew. Blanche Flower? I don't know. Who are the 2?
Nope. Les Allen and Bobby Smith. Question number 2. Who's the only player to score over 120 goals for both clubs?
Jimmy Greaves.
Correct. That's the point. Question number 3. On the 6th of March, 1982, he scored one of the goals at Stamford Bridge that helped Spurs beat Chelsea 3-2 in the FA Cup 6th round. In 1985, he crossed London to join them. Who was he?
I wasn't even... Yeah.
I've met him, actually.
You've met him?
I've met him.
That's interesting. So wait,
he shares the same last name as a Chelsea legend. You'll kick yourself if you don't get this.
So he scored against them in 1982, then he moved to 1985 to Chelsea. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Mickey Hazard? I don't know.
Yay! Ding, ding, ding.
What?
3 for 2.
Is that real? Is that right?
Yeah. Question number 4. 2 men who played for Chelsea in the 1960s both went on to manage Spurs. Who were they?
So 2 players who played for Chelsea in what year?
In the 1960s, both went on to manage
in the 60s.
Spurs.
Oh, okay, in the 60s. Glenn Hoddle?
Nope.
No.
Get one more wrong.
So they played for Chelsea and they came and managed Spurs later on in their careers, basically. Is that what you're saying, right?
Yep. Correct.
Terry Venables? I don't know.
That's one.
Is that one of them?
That is one of them. Can you get the other one? The other one, the first name of his first name and the first name of his surname are the same.
I know what you mean, but I'm just trying to think of a manager. So Venables is one of them. I know that because my
I'll give you
dad
the-
told me about it before.
I'll give you the first letter of his first name is a G.
George Graham.
Yeah. Fuck, I need to stop helping you out here.
It's hard, man.
Question 5. Which striker did Spurs sign from Chelsea in 1991 who played 78 times for the club before his move to Glasgow Rangers in 1994?
Sorry, he played for Chelsea 1991 to 1994. Then from after 94...
Which striker did Spurs sign from Chelsea in 1991?
Oh,
Played
in 91.
78 times
91.
for Tottenham and then moved to Glasgow Rangers 3 years
Oh,
later.
okay. So I was trying to understand the question, sorry. Gary Lineker?
Nope, Gordon Jury. Question 6. Only two men in this century have managed both Spurs and Chelsea. Who are they?
Jose. Is Jose count as a century?
Correct. And
Andre Villas-Boas.
correct. Fucking hell. Put me to shame here. He knows more about Chelsea than he does about Spurs. Shocking. Question 7. This popular central defender started exactly 200 league games for Spurs between 1980 and 1986. After a short sojourn with Glasgow Rangers, then joined Chelsea in 1988. Who was he? I actually met him as well.
Okay.
I'll give you a quote. It's going to help you get this. Can't help you. There's a quote that will help you get this. The crest on the shirt on the front will always be bigger than the name on the back.
Is that Blanchflower's quote?
Nope.
I'm going to kick myself for not knowing, remembering it says this now.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Graham Roberts.
Graham Roberts. And I actually met him as well.
Yeah, me too. Question 8. Which Spurs player from the 1950s and 1960s went on to manage Chelsea in the 1970s? A hint, you've recently said his name.
Blanchflower?
Yep.
I said it about 50 times now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Question 9. Only one man in the post-war era has ever played for or managed both Chelsea and Spurs. Who is he?
Played for and managed both Chelsea and Tottenham.
Yeah.
So he played for Tottenham and managed us. Played for Chelsea and managed us as well.
Yeah.
And what years were they?
Only one man in the post-war era.
Oh, post-war. Oh, okay. All right, okay.
Has played for Spurs and managed them, and played for Chelsea and managed Chelsea.
Was that Glenn Hoddle?
It was correct. Question 10, and the end of the first round. A quality midfielder who could score goals as well. This Uruguayan played for Chelsea between 1997 and 2001, and then went on to Spurs until 2004.
Oh, this is an easy one. Juan Gus Poyet.
It was. You know, I always thought he was French. I don't know why. I always thought
Really?
he was French.
Oh.
And
I actually met him once.
Shirts.
Actually, I think I actually met him once, but I was really young.
Do you remember when he got sacked live on TV?
Yeah.
Round 2. The book's closed. Give me a quiz.
What number did I say that already?
So you said you said quiz 5 last time. Why don't we
try 13?
aim for something at the back of the book?
13.
Or.
I'm probably gonna regret this.
13. The FA Cup finals of 91, 21, 81, 82, 87 and 91. This is going to be fun. 13. Here we go. So, when Spurs won the FA Cup for the first time in 1901 with a 3-1 replay win over Sheffield United, their goals were scored by 3 players, 2 of whom shared their surnames with post-war prime ministers, while the third shattered his with a post-war leader of the opposition. Who were the 3 players?
I ain't got a clue about that.
The answers were Cameron, for David Cameron, Brown, for Gordon Brown, and Smith. I don't know who was on the other side, so I can't tell you who that is. Question number 2. Who is the only Spurs player to score more than once in a post-war FA Cup final or replay?
So, more than one goal in an FA Cup final?
Who is the only Spurs player to score more than once in a post-war FA Cup final or replay?
Oh, okay. Ricky Villa?
Correct.
Yeah, I remember he scored 2. Here's Ricky Rio. What a fantastic run. He scored. Sorry.
Who is the only man to score against Spurs in a post-war FA Cup final and later go on to play for us?
Post-war FA Cup final and then went on to play for us.
Yep.
There can be a number of players, you know. I was going to say Gallas because it's the only one I can literally think of.
Terry Fenwick. Question 4. Spurs played Sheffield United in 1901, Manchester City in 1981, and Coventry City in 1987. All of these clubs contained a player with the same surname, and in 2 of the 3 finals in question, the man with that surname found the net. What was the name of the surname?
Terry?
It wasn't. It was Bennett.
Oh.
Question 5. Who scored the only goal of the game for Spurs against Wolves in the 1921 FA Cup final?
Oh. I'm sure my dad told me this one as well. This is going to annoy me. You know, my dad went to the final. That's why he told me this about this one. I can't remember the guy's name now. Something Smith or something? I don't know.
It was Tommy Hutchinson. So not quite. Question 6. Which Manchester City player scored at both ends in the 1-1 draw with Spurs in the 1981 FA Cup final?
At both ends. Murphy or something? I don't know, something Murphy.
Okay, I got the answers the wrong way round, but you got him with them wrong anyway. Question 5 was Jimmy Dimmock. This one was Tommy Hutchinson. I'll miss the numbers. Okay. My apologies. It's been a long day for people that don't know.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Question 7. Which 2 Spurs players appeared in both the 1987 FA Cup final against Coventry City and the 1991 FA Cup final against Nottingham Forest?
In both games, right?
Yep.
I
met one of them. In fact, I think I've met both of them.
Really? Oh.
I just don't think I realised who the second guy was.
Funny thing is, I should know this because someone like Paul Coit always talks about this sort of stuff before the game and stuff.
Yeah.
These facts, and I'm sure he mentioned it like when he brings the legends out, right? And he always says those things. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm sure I've heard this before, but I can't picture the players coming on in that. So 91. Glenn Hoddle, maybe? I don't know.
Nope. I'll give you one more. If you get that player right, you'll get another guess. If you get it wrong, you will not.
No, because he signed like... It wouldn't be Gary Lineker?
Nope. It was Gary Mabbott and Paul Allen. Question number 8. Who is the only Spurs player to score in an FA Cup final and an FA Cup final replay in the same post-war season?
Oh, okay, yeah. I know what you mean. Because they used to do FA Cup replays, I remember.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that now, going to Wembley twice.
Yeah.
That'd be madness. On the trains, it would be madness. What was Ozzy Ardiles?
Glenn Hoddle. Question number 9. You picked some awful questions here. Question number 9. An unused substitute for Coventry City against Spurs in the 1987 final played for the London club in the 1991 final against Nottingham Forest. Who was he?
I ain't got a clue. I don't know anything about Coventry.
It was Steve Segley. Don't know who that is. Whose own goal in the 1991 FA Cup final against Forest decided the match in Spurs' favour?
Oh, no. And I'm sure my dad's definitely told me this one before, 100%. Something Howells or something? I don't know.
It was Des Walker.
Des Walker.
The book is closed. We're on to round 3. Pick your quiz. Maybe try not to pick from the front of the book.
33.
Oh, fuck it. This guy does not learn, does he? Let's have a look. We'll have a look. Way. One cap wonders. I don't actually think you're getting any quizzes about Spurs at this point. I'm not going to lie to you. 33. There it is. Right, here we go. Let me write down. So the last one was 13 and this is 33. So round 3, question 1. Can you identify these players who were all capped for England once while at Spurs? Fullback whose sole cap came against Scotland in 1954.
Right. No idea. Walker Peters.
It was
Regen.
Harry Clark.
Oh.
Question number 2. Spurs midfielder who received his only England cap as a substitute in a 1-1 draw with Italy in Turin on the 31st of March 2015. He had more
one
Jack Wilshere.
One cap.
He played one game for England.
In 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, this at least this is like...
He's
relevant.
Now a manager.
Mr. Mason.
It is Ryan Mason, yes.
I forgot he made it.
Question number 3.
Yeah.
Fullback, whose only cap came in a 5-2 defeat by France in Alf Ramsey's first game as England manager on the 27th of February 1963.
I ain't got a clue, I don't know who.
Ron Henry. Question number 4. You should get this. Maybe not by the question, but by the name of the player. A midfielder whose cap came against Iceland on the 2nd of June 1982. One of our most iconic players.
But is it England cap, do you mean? Sorry.
Yeah, he got his England cap, yeah.
No idea.
Steve Perryman.
He only had one England cap.
Yep. Question 5. A left winger whose only England appearance came in a legendary match at Wembley on the 25th of November 1953, where Hungary beat England 6-3.
No idea.
George Robb. Question 6. I'm not going to lie, there's probably only 2 of these you're going to get. Question 6. A defender who came on as a substitute against a country that I don't really want to mention on the 11th of February 1988.
No idea.
Terry Fenwick. Question 7. You really need to pick better categories. This is shocking. Question 7. A defender whose only international moment came on the 3rd of October 1951 against France.
Fenwick again? I don't know.
It was Terry Fenwick. How the fuck? No, wait. No, Terry Fenwick was the answer before. Ignore me. It was Arthur Willis. You got that wrong. I read the
I know it wasn't the right one. I just said Fenwick because the kid's name keeps coming up.
Question 8. This is interesting. The midfielder who managed to score his... I didn't even know this guy was a midfielder. Who managed to score with his first kick in international football when England played Portugal in 1951, but was never selected again, giving him the best strike rate of any post-war Spurs player for England ever.
The one goal he scored.
One of our greatest ever managers. I always forget that he was a player before that.
Birkinshaw?
Bill Nicholson.
Oh, he actually played one cap for England.
Yeah. A defender one. A defender whose only game in an England shirt came against Sweden in 2004.
2004?
Yeah.
And one cap against Sweden, right? You say?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Anthony Gardner.
Hey, you got one! How the fuck did you get that? You probably get
he was a really crap defender, but he got an England cap. That's the only reason I remember it.
Question 10. Defenders whose one cap came in 2012 on the night of that Ibras overhead kick, which took England apart and helped himself to 4 goals.
Sorry, what?
So, a defender whose one cap came in 2012 on the night that Sweden's Ibrahimovic took England apart and they beat us by 4 goals.
In 2012?
In 2012.
He had one cap?
He made one cap.
He was one England cap in 2012. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about the English players who had on the red now. No, it can't be him. Surely not. No, definitely not him. He's more than one England cap. No, surely no. It can't be him.
Give us a guess.
Carl Norton.
Stephen Corker.
Oh my god, he actually has an England cap.
He did. The book's closed. I'm using it as a fan again because it's fucking hot.
Okay, so
Hit
2 more
me
rounds.
with
So
2 more rounds. I'm not going to tell you how many you're on so far, but it's not looking good, bruv. Hit me with another one.
56.
Here we go. We've got some volume. Spurs in Europe in the 1990s and 2000s. Let me find the answer sheet because I probably don't know the answers to these questions either, which is great. 56. Here we go. Question 1. So this is 53. Yeah, 56. Here we go. Spurs in Europe in the 1990s and 2000s. It was a disappointing affair for Spurs in Europe in the 1990s. Great worry to start this, isn't it? After their usual FA Cup win with a 1 at the end of the year in 1991, they entered the European Cup Winners' Cup for 1991-1992 after beating Dockerow, Hajduk Split and Porto. Which old foe knocked us out?
So what was it? In what year?
I'm trying to...
Huh?
Hold on, I'm trying to find fucking 56. In 1991-92 season, which team knocked us out?
Anderlecht?
I'll give you a hint. I was going to say they're a Dutch team. It was finaled. Question 2. Goals were the problem. They failed to score in their last 3 games of the tournament, managing just 7 in 8 matches. Who was their top goal scorer in Europe with 3 of those 7?
Is this Tottenham we're talking about? Or just
Correct.
another team?
Tottenham.
So which player or which?
Which player scored 3 of our 7 goals that we got in Europe that year?
In 1990...
92 season.
Oh.
Fucking hell, he's slow, boys.
Lineker? Because he's the only one I can think of that would score.
No, Gordon Jury. Question 3. It was the end of the decade before Spurs got into Europe again, 1999-2000 to be precise. Although we can dispense with the 2000 part straight away, as Spurs only lasted until the 4th of November when they went out over 2 legs to Kaiserslautern in the second round of the UEFA Cup. Earlier that year, they'd beaten Zimbaru Chinazu 3-0 at White Hart Lane before a 0-0 draw at their place. Whatever that was, sent them through. In the White Hart Lane leg, Tim Sherwood got 1 goal, while the other 2 came from a Spurs player with Wimbledon connections. Came from 2 Spurs players with Wimbledon connections.
Oh, okay. Ben Thatcher and Chris Perry?
Perry is one of them. The other one is not Perry. I'll give you half a point for that. It was Leon Hardson and Perry.
Kristen Leonardson, yeah.
Question 4. The UEFA Cup is like pulling teeth. Perish the thought of having to qualify in July. You could easily die before you reach the competition proper. In 2006-2007, Spurs had the dubious distinction of being back in Europe and became part of the appropriately named Group B, which all of their opponents had that letter prominent in their names. They were Besiktas, Bruges, Bayer Leverkusen and Dynamo Bucharest. Also appropriately, which Spurs player beginning with the letter B scored in all 4 games?
There's only one player I can think of, Berbatov.
Correct.
I even remember his goal against Besiktas, actually. He done the keeper proper good that one. Yeah.
I did not remember it, so yeah. Question 5. Their opponents were another B in Braga. Spurs beat them 3-2, both home and away, to advance to the quarter-final. Which Spurs midfielder scored in both legs?
It's 2006, right? 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. Genus?
Nope. Freddie Canute.
He put him as a midfielder. Is he a striker?
Right, hold on. Oh, well, the answer's wrong anyway. It's Steed Malbrook.
Oh, it was
But
Malbron.
I've just given you the answer to question 6. So unfortunately,
Oh,
I'm going to have to give you a point for that because that was an accident. Question 7 then. Spurs were back in the UEFA Cup in 2008, 2007, 2008 and knocked out a Czech side they'd beaten in the previous season before the group stage. Who were they?
Slavia Prague.
Correct.
I probably even went to one of
Question
those games
8.
actually. Yeah.
The dreaded penalty shootout did for them in the second knockout stage. However, the dreaded penalty shootout did for them in the second knockout stage when which club beat them 6-5 on penalties after a 1-1 aggregate score?
Sorry, which year and which? Is it the same year?
2007, 2008.
Oh no, I can't about to bring this up. Seville.
So,
Seville, isn't it? That knocked us out.
this says PSV Eindhoven.
I wait. Isn't that 2008 season though?
I don't know.
Oh no, that was when. Yeah. I got the years mixed up. I think year before was Seville, and that year was
Probably, yeah.
Eindhoven because Gomez was like anyway. Gomez did some Gomez
Anyway,
things.
question number 9.
Gomez played for Eindhoven back then.
2008-2009 saw Spurs back again, this time in Group D. Their most encouraging performance was a 4-0 win over Dynamo Zagreb, in which Spurs player scored a hat-trick. You hate him.
That's helpful.
He's an Arsenal fan. He's an Arsenal fan. Correct. I need to stop giving you clues. It's not looking good. Question 10. And the last one for category 4. Round 4. Question 10. In the so-called round of 32, Spurs made their exit, beating 3-1 aggregate at the hands of which Ukrainian club?
We were beaten or we beat them, sorry, did you say?
We were beaten. We were beaten at the hands of which Ukrainian club?
And what year was it, if I'm asking, sorry, did you say again?
It doesn't give me a year.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming it's 2008, 2009.
Dinamo Tbilisi or something? I don't know.
Nope. How did you not go for the obvious answer? It was Shakhtar Donetsk.
Oh.
Here we go. The book is closed one more time. Please pick something from the back end of the book because this has been appalling. Go.
I know, I just wanted to give some variation for the audience, that's why.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
98.
Oh, fuck hell. I said back of the book, man's gone. All right, then. 98. Venues. Here we go. Question. Let me check the answers because they're right at the back of the book. There. Here we go. Question 1. On which now defunct league ground did Spurs win the FA Cup for the first time after a replay against Sheffield United in 1901?
On which venue? Oh, which venue, sorry?
Yeah, which defunct league ground did Spurs win the FA Cup on for the first time after a replay against Sheffield United in 1901?
Defunct league ground. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the ground doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, right. Okay, all right. I was understanding what you were trying to say. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry,
doesn't exist anymore.
No. The team are in the Championship. Or they might even be in League One, actually. I'll tell you what, I'll give you the name of the team and then we'll see if you can guess the ground. It was Bolton's home stadium at the time.
The Reebok is the newer one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it must be whatever that old stadium was. I don't know what it is. What's it called?
It was the Burden Park.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds appropriate for being a Bolton fan. Question 2. In which city did Spurs beat Atletico Madrid to win the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1963? It's a Dutch city.
Amsterdam?
Rotterdam. I don't know what that accent was. Sorry, guys. Question 3. On which league ground did Spurs lose an FA Cup semi-final against Everton on the 9th of April 1995?
Old Trafford?
Ellen Road.
They played at the Leeds ground.
4. On which ground did Spurs beat Wolves to win the FA Cup final in 1992? 1921, sorry.
I was going to say 92 must be Wembley. I'll
give you a hint. It's the stadium of a rival.
Upton Park?
Nope, it was Stamford Bridge.
Oh.
I didn't know that, actually.
It's a bit close.
Question 5. In which city did Spurs lose the 2019 Champions League final to Liverpool?
Why do I have to talk about this? Madrid.
Unfortunately. Question 6. On which now defunct league ground did Spurs beat Wolves 3-0 in the FA Cup semi-final replay on April 1981?
So it doesn't exist.
And a hint, this is a rival ground as well. But it's a rival ground that doesn't exist anymore.
Highbury?
Correct.
I think that's why they talk about that game, because of the Highbury. That's what, anyway.
Question 7. What is the only venue apart from Wembley that's hosted an Arsenal versus Spurs FA Cup semi-final? I'll give you a hint.
Trafford.
The answer to the
Trafford.
next...
Is it Old Trafford?
It is, yeah. I was about to give you a hint that's going to give it away.
You know what? Because my older brother talks about these kind of games against Arsenal a lot. Like, we played them at Old Trafford, we played them at Wembley, because we played the first semi-final at Wembley ever, I think, with Arsenal in '91.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question 8. On which league ground did Spurs lose an FA Cup semi-final to Newcastle United on the 11th of April 1999?
Which league ground?
Yeah.
Why do we
Which league ground did we lose an FA Cup semi-final to Newcastle? It wasn't at Newcastle.
Yeah,
Hint, you've already said it.
Sorry?
Hint, you've already said it.
Upton Park?
No, Old Trafford.
Old Trafford.
Shocking. How did you not get that? Question number 9. Spurs played in their first FA Cup semi-final on the 8th of April 1901 when they beat West Bromwich Albion 4-0. Where was the game played?
Anfield?
Villa Park. Mm-hmm. And question 10. Which league ground did Spurs first play a semi-final in the 1921 and last played one in 1981?
Villa Park?
Hillsborough.
So you that's interesting. Hillsborough. Hmm.
So let me do the maths here.
Quick maths.
Yeah. So you got, I'm not going to lie, I'm not giving you the half a point because it's going to make my maths harder. So you got 7 in round 1, which was quiz 5. You got 1 in round 2, cost yourself there. 2 in round 3, 4 and a bit in round 4, and 3 in round 5, totaling 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, which 17 points out of a possible 50, which leaves us with a percentage out of 100 of
34, I think.
You are 34%. A real Spurs fan. Harry, did you do better than you thought you did?
Yeah, actually. Some of them, yeah. Some of it, I had no idea. I literally had no idea. The night when it goes to like the early 1900s, I'm just like, or 1950s, I'm just like, not a clue.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to get our money's worth, even though I didn't pay anything for it. So, this is part 1 of Let's Make It 3 parts over the summer, where we're going to quiz Harry. So, this is part 1. We'll see if he can score better. I'll do it on a random week. I won't tell him. And we'll do 2
also,
more.
Can you note down the pages I already did, just so you know not to give the pages
I've
again?
already got them. You did
5,
13, 33, 56 and 98.
Just so you can remind me when we do it next time not to pick the same pages.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I'm
asking.
Fine.
So, this book is from the Racing Post. It was £10. It says, the back of it says, how much do you really know about the club you love? You can find out by exploring 1,000 questions set out in 100 categories that make up this Tottenham Hotspur quiz book. It's not often that books on footballs make references in philosophy, snooker, the Bible, the Falklands War, Butch Cassidy, the Substance Kid, Louis Armstrong, Chauffeur, EastEnders, but this one does. Call Yourself a Spurs Fan is a quirky, challenging affair for real Spurs fans to test themselves, to take on each other with the emphasis of joy and discovery. Try these for size. Which club did Spurs meet? And then that's just some random suggestions. You will struggle to find anything as comprehensive as this electoral collection. It's a must for all Spurs fans of all ages, and you might not see anything quite like it. And I must say, I'm not going to lie, because I've had this for ages waiting to use this on Harry. Actually, my stepdad bought this with the intention of us using this on the podcast, which I think that's quite cool. So, Mark Matthews, mate, I hope you are a Spurs fan, because otherwise I pity you for having to make a book this thick on questions of a club you don't like. And if you are a Spurs fan, come on the podcast. That would be quite cool. Could you imagine? Thank you very much, Harry, for being a good contestant, although you failed miserably.
I mean, my win rate scores for this show was a 54, so I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I can't say I would have done any better. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next week we'll have a normal episode talking about normal shit. Very, very briefly, actually, before we go, what do you think of the Mohamed Kudus links? Because it's about the only bit of transfer information we've had in the last week.
Yeah. I think it's concrete because Romano reported it as well. So I think there's some legs to it. What I feel like him as a player, I don't know. I think he's better than what we've got, but that isn't really like a big thing, really, if you look at our wingers, if we're being completely honest. He had a great season. Was it 2 seasons ago? He had a great season. Last season he had a drop off. So I just wonder about these players, like, how consistent is he going to be? Maybe Frank has a plan for him. But then I think going for a player like Kudus kind of indicates we won't change to a back five. I think maybe. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, yeah.
But who knows? I mean, with Spurs, I just don't know. But it's positive, but also just kind of like, I just don't really know how he's going to turn out because he had one good season and one like drop off. So he could come to Spurs and suddenly have a really good season. Then the season after, like, what we're going to see, I don't know. But do you think it's going to be our marquee signing? Because obviously, Waymo, from what I read, is not going to.
If we pay the full release clause, yes, but I think we're aiming for about 60 million. I think there's going to be two 60 million pound signings this summer, and then 2 squad players. So it's going to be interesting to see who those players are. That's my opinion, anyway. But it seems like 60 million will be enough for West Ham to take it. Doesn't seem like they want the full 85 million, or that they wouldn't accept the full 85 million. So for me, it's just about making a sort of judgment call in that regard. But like I say, I think it's one of them. I think we just have to sort of wait and see. And like I say, we'll talk about it more next week. But I don't think he's a bad player. I think there's definitely a lot about him. But it depends on which version of Mohamed Kudus we get. I think that's the best way to put it. Make sure you guys like. Thank you so much.
Was unbelievable, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you guys like. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you come back next week for us to talk about some transfer stuff, and then come back in a couple of weeks' time where we quiz Harry again to see if he sucks just as much as he does today. Thank you, and goodbye. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!